only that, I mean, the Warriors have gotten older in the last 2 or 3 years. See, Vince hit on something that has been, to me, the big crux of maybe a disagreement. And it's, all right, let's I'll do it this way. 2 years ago, the Warriors won a title. Nobody expected it. I was wrong. I thought they were done winning titles, but they did. And it was a great title. They won their 4th title. Okay. Boy, now what do? Well, we got to run it back. Okay. You got to run it back.
Have to.
I get it. So you run it back, and you go 44-38. And instead of saying, we tried to run it back, and it didn't work, so now we move on, let's be honest about what you did. You ran it back, it didn't work, and you rationalized why it didn't work, when the reality is it didn't work because it didn't work, and it's over. You had a guy punch another player, and then that player got traded, and you doubled down on the guy who did the punching. You had Andrew Wiggins go AWOL last year, and let's just be honest, for 10 weeks, nobody still knows why. I get it. It's none of our business, but nobody still goes why. And people looked at it and said, well, Andrew Wiggins, something happened, so that's going to magically turn around. Did it? How's Wiggins playing now?
Playing better.
Yeah, 3. You know what? Warriors lead the league in guys who play 2 or 3 good games in a row. And then they also lead the league in guys who play 2 or 3 bad games in a row. Like, why couldn't people look at last year, 44-38, you barely beat the Kings, the Lakers expose you, and say, well, we had the punch. That messed up his season. We had Wiggins. He went AWOL. That kind of hurt. Clay, he had a funky first couple months. That wasn't very good. Bob Myers, he was a distraction. So all those things are going to magically clean up this year. Well, apparently they haven't.
First of all, I love the guys on this team. We have a really good group. They have a good chemistry. They get along well. We haven't found that grit that every team needs, every good team needs, where you pull together and you just play for the group. We're not there yet. And that's a problem. We, like I said, we got great guys, love every one of them, but until this team really connects in a way that is solely dedicated to winning each and every game, then we're going to be stuck in this place. So we need to get there.
I mean, there it is. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. For all Warrior fans out there that are pointing a strong finger at Steve Kerr, that is the one I'll give you. That's the one I'll give you. I ain't giving you he doesn't play the young guys enough. I'm not going to give you rotations. I'm not giving you rotations. I will give you the team has not come together. That I will give you. So,
well, how could they?
What do you mean?
I mean, you've been missing a big piece of it for over half the season.
You're talking about Draymond?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, he's talking about, and he used the word, agenda. Guess what? Klay Thompson still has an agenda. He's in a contract year, and he can't make a shot. Okay? That's what Steve Kerr's talking about. What else is he talking about? He's talking about Andrew Wiggins. Of course he's talking about Andrew Wiggins, the enigma. Of course he is. I think he might be talking about Looney. He just can't get Looney to play up to his standards from a year ago. Why? I don't know. We can speculate.
I think he's talking about everyone. I think he's talking about the young guys, too.
I agree.
I think he's talking about players who think they should be playing more, or
he's talking about Kuminga.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about Kuminga. Could be talking about Moody, who's been getting DMPs. He could be talking about, I don't know, the rookies who have been given, a lot for a first-year player. He could be talking about, he also could be talking about Draymond Green, who, because of his own individual choices, is missing the majority of the season so far. I think the finger pointing can go everywhere, and I think that's what Steve Kerr is trying to do, because he doesn't do that very often, where he calls out players for non-basketball reasons. He'll say a player didn't play well tonight, or he's struggling with this, but he won't go after the integrity of his team the way that he did after the Dallas game. And it was only a 10-point loss. He could have done that after the Miami game, where they just flatly didn't show up, but he didn't. He waited another game, and they didn't show up again. And the connectivity of this team, I wonder how you feel about this, Steiny, because you were talking about rationalizing last year. Does that sound like a rationalization for what has happened this season? Because it doesn't have to do so much with basketball as it does the guys buying. I know the two are connected, but one of the things that I was hoping to learn this season was, if they're not a championship team, or if they're not a contender, is it because of basketball? Is it because they're not good enough? And I think Steve Kerr is saying that we don't know if we're not good enough yet, because we haven't been given the opportunity to, because guys are out, guys are hurt, guys are suspended, guys aren't buying in. And the same reasons that you could rationalize the reason why they didn't get it done last year have carried over into this season. I don't know if we're going to find out if the team isn't good enough because at their peak of how they play the game, that there's a team better than them. I don't think we're going to get to that point, the way that things are trending, because there's always something in the way. And I think Steve Kerr is trying to either bring that to the forefront, extract it, or just put all the rats on the table, brought to you by Atco Pest Control, that they need to find out if it's about basketball or not.
That's where I would say, yeah, it is about basketball. They're I know exactly what you're saying. You're kind of separating talent with chemistry and playing together. I think they're in trouble both ways. And I'm starting to think, is it possible? And because I'm trying to take a look at Kerr too. I think the finger pointing at Kerr's outsized, but whatever. So what if Steve Kerr? We all know he's loyal to the veterans. Okay, so is there a chance this is happening? Just throwing it out there. Steve's been loyal to the veterans since the day he walked in the door, and unfortunately this year, he's had to walk off his veterans more than he has ever before. So he's come off Looney more than he ever has before. He's come off Clay more than he ever has before, and he's come off Wiggins. Well, what if they're not? What if they actually feel like Kerr hasn't supported them enough? Like, most players will tell you, I wish you would have hung with me longer. Okay, so now your three veteran players you're getting less out of because they're declining and you're playing them less. But what if the young guys are pissed because they think they deserve more time? The hell with the championships from 2 years ago. By the way, that's the other thing that's holding this team back. 2 years ago, two years ago, you were 26-6. 2 years ago, you were 26-6 on your way to a title. Think about that. They were 26-6, and a lot of people 2 years ago were saying, I don't think they can do it. They did it. Don't tell me they're going to do it at 15-17.
Well, and that's why they're at a major point. Well, it always seems like they're at a major point in their season. Like 5 games ago, or before these losing streaks, we were wondering at 10-14. Oh my God, what's going to happen with the Warriors? And then they get backed up against the wall, and they make some plays, they win some games, they beat teams they're supposed to, they get a big win against the Celtics, and everything is right.
Right.
And then they run into a string of good teams, and that's why to me, this homestand is maybe more indicative of where they are than the last one, because you got Portland twice. Now, you won 5 games in 7 days. Like that, I don't want to understate that. That's hard to do, especially if you're an older team. But losing on Christmas, it's kind of like, okay, Steiny, you remember when they lost on the road to the Nuggets early in the year?
Yeah.
And they were playing well.
Yeah, they made them 6-2, actually.
Yeah, so they're playing great basketball. Well, they're playing good basketball. Sure. And we were really, I was encouraged. Well, I was less encouraged by the first meeting than I was by this last one. I thought they played the champs pretty damn well down to the wire. Denver was just better. Their stars were better than the Warriors' stars. But then you come home and you lay the egg you do against just
Miami,
deplorable Miami team that's missing 4 of their starters.
How'd their young players look, by the way? Miami's.
They played well.
It's like I may be wrong here, but it's like Tyler Hero's only 23, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
The same age as Jordan Poole, I think.
Okay.
Or he's the same year as Jordan Poole.
All right. And then what about, you need to say the guy's name.
Jaime Jaquez.
Jaquez?
Yeah, the Bruin.
No. He's a pretty good young player.
He can play.
Man. And here's the other thing. I dare somebody, I don't dare anybody, but if somebody really wants to have fun with me today, call in and say, but Steiny, Draymond's coming back soon. No, really, Steiny, Draymond's coming back soon. He's just what we're missing.
Well, you want to hear Kerr talk about that? He actually was asked that after the game.
I do.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Kind of the way you're talking about this game, I mean, it seems kind of simple to ask, but like, is this the type of night you really miss Draymond?
Yeah, but I mean, he's not here, so there's no reason to dwell on that.
He said yes.
This team's fine.
He said yes. There's no reason to dwell on it because he can't do anything about it because he's going to be out until probably midway through this month.
He's missed 9 games. They're 5-4. Not all have been suspensions. But
suspensions or ejections, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
correct. Yeah, they're 5-4.
But okay, that's part of the issue though, and it's really, I think, symbolic of where they are on any night. Like, some nights they do miss Draymond. Other nights, they don't. Some nights, Curry's got it. Some nights, Clay has it. Other nights, they don't. And that's where the criticism of Steve Kerr I find really hard to lean in on because I don't know what to do on a given night. When I'm looking at this team, when I'm watching them, I don't know which team's going to show up. If you gave Moody 30 minutes, he might be great. He also might hurt you. If you gave Kuminga 35 minutes, he might be great. He also might hurt you. You got a ton of players on this team that could, if pieced together correctly, help you win. But if any one of them has a bad game, like Klay Thompson did against Dallas and Miami, you are not going to win. Like, that's the problem. They have so many players that need to play well together at this point for them to have a chance. And if any one of those pieces doesn't work, it's like a Jenga tower. Like, if you pull one of those pieces at the wrong time, and that's where I think a lot of the spotlight is shined on Kerr, because if he makes a wrong choice, that choice really hurts the team. And if one of these guys have a bad game, then everything collapses. And that's not a sign of a team that looks like they're going to contend for a championship. That's a sign of a team that, like last year, is fighting for playoff position, and kind of is the way that I looked at them coming into the season, which is you hope you can make some noise. You hope you can be a dark horse. But the Warriors are, both in record and statistics and whatever other means of evaluation you want to throw out there, they are a middle-of-the-pack basketball team, and that's the reality.
I mean, they're 15-17. I always find it interesting when, the Warriors are at home. What do they got? It's like 6 more games at home. It's unbelievable.
By the way, they've lost as many home games now as they did all of last year.
Hey, by the way, what's their road record? The Warriors. I'm not sure. Although the Kings won a couple.
Yeah, you're in trouble on that one.
You don't even have to look. The Warriors are 6-9 on the road.
Sounds about right.
I know it. So they're 6-9. So I'm going to win that bet. And then the Kings need to get to 50 or 49.
I thought they had to get to. I just thought they had to have a better record than last year. So 49.
Yeah. Okay. 49. God, usually I'll squeeze 50 out of that, but yeah, and they're probably on a 50 to 51 win pace.
Just split the pot.
Hey, yeah. By the way, shoot, I got to get into this fantasy stuff. By the way, I got to check Instagram too.
Also, by the way, I don't know if a single team in the NBA is going to win 25 road games this year.
Probably not.
Like, that's really hard to do.
I know it is. I know. That's why when the Warriors were rolling, everybody took everything for granted.